Hello everybody, welcome back to me checking to see if my microphone's on. Hello everybody, welcome back to Labz. Today we've got a lot of experiments on the way. I spent the whole weekend setting up several experiments, checking out a couple of things, and as you can see, I've been a busy little bee. Times have changed. The zombie apocalypse is here. Do we run? Do we hide? Or do we adapt and build? Do we survive? There's a couple of things. First up, one person pointed out that there was one side of this that I hadn't done, and I realized that, so I set this up, but it is surprising that only one person caught that. This particular block, which was the last one we tried on Labz, I didn't test it with this side down, which you can actually fall through, which is weird, because a lot of these blocks like this, you'd figure there's no collision. I mean, there's collision inside of it, but it's actually not a hole in the block type of thing, kind of like the shelves that we can't shoot through for one reason or another. Well, you can actually walk through these, so the question is, I also had a lot of people asking me why I wasn't using ferrules. I did start using ferrules, I showed them once they got up to the top because I was trying to cut down on time either way. So we are going to be using bow ferrule. Now, somebody was asking me, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't traverse that. The zombie's pathing tells it to take a distance from where it's at up to my level. If there is no way for it to get up to my level and then get to me, the zombie will be on the block below me, which is the reason why I happen to know that this block on this side is not pathable. I wanted to emphasize that because some people were questioning this. If this block is pathable according to the zombie, it will come up here and it will try. Now, another thing that we're going to try is people were asking about the one block and the bow. So let's try that. The feral bow, because people are like, well, the zombie can run over that. So, pay attention. Does he have the ability to run over that? Possibly. But does he have the ability to look at this, calculate it like he does everything else, and say, I'm going to go this way because I have a path? While he may be able to run across it, he is not actively going to go after these blocks because there is a gap. Which is what I was getting at with my last video. It used to be that the zombies would still calculate this as a path. Even on the ones that are not ferals, they would come up here and try it either way. Most of the time missing, but they would try it. Because they could calculate the jump in. As of right now, Alpha 20 B218, they do not see a one block gap as a path. That was my point in this, and this will likely be fixed. I'm pretty sure this is actually a bug. They should be able to path a one block gap, unless there's a reason why the Fun Pimps took it out. Maybe it has something to do with some of the cheese bases they saw, and they wanted to remove the ability of the zombie to path across this, therefore stopping some of the cheese. That is entirely possible, in which case it may not come back. Alright, we are going to try a new block, which is this one, the hole filled in block. We are going to do Debo Feral. Where'd you go? Don't be klutzy! Come on! Do the thing! Okay. So that particular side works. What about if we turned it... Force them to do like the tire jump as you do in basic training? Maybe we want to try that. Just to get him to slow down. Does that actually work now that there's a block inside of it, so to speak? Will the zombie now see that particular block as a path? Now, understand that a lot of these blocks that the zombies do not see pathable, they will consider pathable if you combine them with other blocks, but we're not going to do combinations of blocks just yet. Now, see, this one, I'm surprised that he doesn't see that as a path. Technically, he could jump in and out of that block. No? Okay. Let's check the... hang on. Just... whoops, that's not the block I wanted to break. But... okay. There we go. Just out of curiosity, is the bottom part pathable? Because every now and then, you know, there's like a weird block or something like that that just didn't get pathing on it. Maybe this is one of them? Okay, definitely pathable. And zombies running across. Okie dokie. Alright, so we figured that part out. That is it for the block testing. I do want to do these like a little bit at a time. There's a lot of blocks. And I could spend the entire episode talking about which blocks. And I could also do these experiments by myself and just show you which blocks are not pathable and which ones are. But it's more fun to do these a little bit at a time and let's explore the blocks. Now, there's also another category which we have not found yet. And that's the yellow is pathable, but they stumble a lot whenever they use it. And we've got the not pathable, so the zombies won't actually see that as a path, which you could probably means possibly that you could use this particular block on this particular side as a way of getting into your horde base, or a way of getting into your actual base that the zombies will not see as a path, but you can use as a path. I wouldn't recommend this one because during a rush you could actually fall through this yourself. But you could use it, and chances are, let's see, let's just test this, because typically this is how these non-pathable blocks work. Say if I was to do this, now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks underneath it that are clear. What if I were to do this? And this is like a combination I just said I wasn't going to do, but bear with me here. This could be important information for you to know. Should it work the same way as some of the others? Come on, Bo. Do the thing. You're not even pathable with a block underneath you. The reason why I say that's weird is... oh, geez, hang on. I am so sorry, Bo. I did not mean to stop you doing that. The reason I say that is weird is because back when we used to use the arrow slits as a way of sectioning off a particular part that we didn't want to have to rebuild because of zombie damage, you had to put that particular block 3 above any other block. Like, there had to be a 3-block gap for the zombie not to see it as pathing because it saw the block underneath it as pathing. So in this particular case, it's not seeing that as pathing either. It's just completely stopping it from using it. As a matter of fact, he's extremely confused. He doesn't really know what to do. It might be because the feral sense is off and he's just being a dingus, which is a thing. But he's just sitting there. But there are some other things that we were gonna do, and somebody was asking me about fall damage. As of right now, I don't know about the zombies and their fall damage, but I can tell you this. Alright. 5 blocks high. Nothing. This is no mods, no perk points put into it, no, either the mod inside the boots, none of that, okay? That's 10 blocks high. This one could possibly kill me. Ow. Okay. That is 15 blocks high. You are definitely looking at some serious, serious damage. But if we do these... 15 blocks, no damage whatsoever. None. Now, I actually went to 20, and then had to go all the way to 35. Before I got any damage. So, these guys actually protect you all the way up to 35. You will not die as long as you jump into one of those. Now, here's a question. Before, in previous alphas, depending on the weight you were carrying, also depended on whether or not you were going to survive a fall. So, what if we were carrying all of the world's dirt? If for some reason, I was just going to put dirt everywhere. We are fully encumbered. I have no pockets. I have no points put into it. Nothing. We are at 35. I would normally survive this fall with a sprain. A sprain. So, I don't think inside this particular alpha they accounted for fall damage and how much you were encumbered. At least not yet. It's not doing anything. As we go through the new updates and everything, we're going to leave these guys here so we can test them again, just to see if there's been any change. So, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to turn off zombie AI. We're going to have God mode on, and we're going to have to do... Stick. That's not even funny. Dude, I was pointing right here. There. Could you... Your AI is supposed to be off. No damage. Dude, you were not supposed to jump that far, but yeah, he definitely got hurt. It was only like 24 damage. He was supposed to fall over here. He just, like, did the biggest of jumps. Okay, let me try that one again. Dude! Not on my head. Okay. Why are you back on my head? Don't do that. Hop out of my head and then try this again so the zombie will quit spawning on top of my head. No damage that time. Okay. No damage that time. Alright. So that's 5 and 10 blocks. No damage, really. The first one had to have been the way he landed, I guess. Let's try this. Less than 10 damage. Not satisfactory, guys. Not satisfactory at all. So let's go a whole lot more extreme, because this one up here, we would definitely die if we fell from this angle. We would definitely die. No qualms about it if we did not hit the hay. Yep, you guys do change health. Ah! Less than 50 damage. Oh no, he got smart. He's landing in it? Okay. Well, I don't think you perfectly landed in it. You actually... Wait. You took... Just gonna sit there, are you? Okay. That didn't work. Okay, so people were asking me whether or not the zombies still had the fall damage. Very, very little. I mean, that's a lot of blocks, and he's taken, like, between 10 and 50-ish damage, which really isn't a whole lot for the amount of work it would take to, say, build a drop base. It's going to take a lot of time to dig down far enough to do any serious amount of damage. But we, of course, get damaged by said things. We'll worry about that one next time. This one we wanted to try this whole diagonal thing again, because this is a good way to build your stairs into your base. I just wanted to see... Okie dokie. There we go. I wanted to see whether or not the diagonal thing works. In a previous alpha, for some reason, the diagonal step up, the zombies didn't see those as stairs, and wouldn't try to climb up to get me. So what we're going to do is we're going to try it again. Wrong one. And he does not see it as a path. Whereas I can easily jump from one to the other. He's not seeing it as a path. He's trying to beat his way to me instead of use the path. Okay, so that is still a thing. Alright, that's a few items. What else did I want to cover? We've got something over here really quick that I want to cover. We're going to touch base on a whole lot of different stuff. But another thing is the gardening stuff. The agriculture center. we are having to deal with a deficit on the corn plant. In case you are not aware, whenever you punch these, you get 2 corn and 50% chance to catch a seed with no perk points in there. Now, you can put perk points into it to get more out, and you will eventually get to where you're pulling quite a bit and you can make more seeds. But the problem is that I have 2 plants, no seed. I'm sorry, but this whole concept of making things more tedious and therefore equals more fun, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing to give people a challenge, but to make it grindy. It's not the same thing. So, I don't know whether or not this is something that they're going to change. From what I've seen, there's very few people who agree with this concept. Me, personally, I would be okay with this idea of getting less corn per thing and then increase it as we put in the perk points, because once you put the perk points in, you should get more out of it. That's plain and simple. Or, the concept of as you put more perk points in, you get more seeds back, kind of thing. Me, personally, I don't like the concept of having to replant the entire freaking garden every single time I go through and punch plants. I already have a hard enough time trying to stay on top of my plants later on in the game because it is just a pain. So, me, personally, I'm gonna say farming is kind of a no-go right now, even though this is usually what I enjoyed doing. Am I still gonna make farm plots? Yes, I'm gonna plant the seeds that I find in world and just go ahead and get the food out of it. But I'm not gonna waste my time. There's a couple of other things that I had questions about in the previous alpha, but I don't think I ever got around to trying them out. And here we have our greenhouse and the window issue. As you can see, there is a block between this window and the farm plot, and they did in fact grow. These are still growing, but they are growing. This one is right next to the window, and it is growing. This one is 2 blocks away, and it is not growing. I planted this line and this line at the exact same time. Then it made me curious about whether or not this line would grow. So 2 out from a window will grow the seed. So if you're by chance, for some reason or another, wanting to plant your farm in a building, a greenhouse of some sort, now you know how this is going to work. Now, of course, if we have windows or something overhead, that would definitely help as a way of getting more light in here, and therefore where they will grow. But this is just a demonstration that light goes so far towards your plants. You can't just stick it in a windowed room, put the plant wherever you want to, and it will grow. But that works. And then, of course, we've got these, if you wanted to plant underground for one reason or another, to make the zombies path over instead of accidentally break a plant, because breaking these plants is now more costly than it was before. If a zombie got irritated by your garden and punched your plant, you lose the corn, you lose the seed, the whole thing, and you have to, it's not just going to go back to a little seedling, and you can wait for it to grow again, which is frustrating, but you're going to lose the whole plant in this case. So maybe putting it underground or in a greenhouse is a whole lot better than putting it out in the middle of nowhere. So I tried this. I'm going to try a couple of different blocks to see whether or not the light can go around it, but this is the bars, the iron bars, so we know that they will grow around that. Okay, I think that's all we're going to cover. I covered a whole lot of random stuff. Basically, we tried another block, we tried height distances. We are going to try out a couple of different things to do with the height. First off, we have height candy. We've got the inserts that goes inside your boots. We've got perk points into parkour we're going to try out, but that's just the basic information, so we're coming back to that. And we're going to have the boxing ring here in a little while. Probably next episode we're going to try that one out. But that is what I have got for this episode. Every single episode we are going to touch on a lot of different subjects, not just one. So definitely try to be here for every single episode to find out what we discover in the next one. I'll see you then. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye!